Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Erudispace. Today we'll discuss about the Vapour Absorption Refrigeration System. In this lecture, first I will give you some idea about the utility of any refrigerator. Then I will briefly discuss the functioning of a Vapour Compression Refrigeration System, which is the most commonly used refrigeration system. After that, I will discuss the simple Vapour Absorption Refrigeration System, and then I will discuss about the practical Vapour Absorption Refrigeration System. I sincerely believe that by watching this video, your concept about the Vapour Absorption Refrigeration System will be crystal clear. So before discussing anything, we should know the function of a refrigerator. The function of a refrigerator is to maintain a body or a space at a temperature lower than the atmospheric temperature. Now, what we achieve by maintaining a body or a space at a temperature lower than the atmospheric temperature? Because at low temperature, the effect of bacteria on food items is considerably reduced. So you can keep the food items for a considerable period of time in a refrigerator. The Vapour Absorption Refrigerator was introduced in the 19th century, much before the introduction of the Vapour Compression Refrigeration System. Still it is being used, and at last we'll discuss the reason why still it finds its applicability in some cases. First, we'll discuss briefly about the functioning of the more commonly used Vapour Compression Refrigeration System. The Vapour Compression Refrigeration System uses an evaporator, a compressor, a condenser, and an expansion valve. Out of these four essential components, three components like your condenser, your expansion valve, and your evaporator are part of the Vapour Absorption Refrigeration System also. But a system comprising of an absorber, a pump, a generator, and a pressure reducing valve perform the same function as that of a compressor of a Vapour Compression Refrigeration System. So, what happens in case of your Vapour Compression Refrigeration System? Because once we understand the operation and function of a Vapour Compression Refrigeration System, it would be very easy for us to understand the Vapour Absorption Refrigeration System. First of all, low pressure refrigerant vapor from the evaporator is drawn into the compressor. In the compressor, it is compressed. As a result, its pressure and temperature is considerably reduced. Then this high pressure, high temperature working substance, which is called your refrigerant, enters the condenser. In the condenser, it releases heat to the surrounding condensing medium. As a result, it gets converted into liquid refrigerant. This liquid refrigerant is stored in a receiver. From the receiver, it enters the evaporator after passing through the expansion valve or refrigerant control valve. The function of an expansion valve or refrigerant control valve is to reduce the pressure and temperature of the refrigerant so that when it enters the evaporator, it can smoothly absorb heat from the space to be cooled. So after understanding the function of Vapour Compression Refrigeration System, we will now discuss how the Vapour Absorption Refrigeration System works. As far as the function of the condenser, the expansion valve or refrigerant control valve, and evaporator are concerned, they are exactly the same. Now, we will see how the system comprising of an absorber, a pump, a generator, and a pressure reducing valve is performing the same function as that of a compressor. we need to remember that unlike the Vapour Compression Refrigeration System, the Vapour Absorption Refrigeration System uses two fluids. One is called your refrigerant and the second one is called your absorbent. The most commonly used Vapour Absorption Refrigeration System uses ammonia as a refrigerant and water as an absorbent. So in this case, first low pressure ammonia vapor will be drawn from the evaporator into the absorber. In the absorber you do have water, and water has got tremendous affinity towards ammonia. As a result, it will be readily dissolved in water, and the solution so formed is called your Aqua-Ammonia solution. Now, absorption of ammonia vapor lowers the pressure of the solution. As a result, more and more amount of ammonia vapor will be drawn from the evaporator. But one of the major problem is that at high temperature, water loses its ability to absorb ammonia vapor. So the heat of the solution evolved should be dissipated to the surrounding. So some sort of cooling arrangement should be provided. You can see that cooling water arrangement is being provided so that the heat of the solution is removed. Now, the solution so formed is called strong solution because it has considerable amount of ammonia in the solution. Then, this strong solution is pumped to the generator. In the pump, the pressure of the solution is raised to 10 bar. Then some sort of heating arrangement is provided in the generator. You may employ a steam or heating coil for that purpose. So, the strong solution gets heat from the heating coil. As a result, the ammonia leaves the system, leaving behind hot weak solution of Aqua-Ammonia. We call it weak solution because it contains comparatively lesser amount of ammonia. Now we should know why ammonia is getting vaporized, why water is not evaporated. We should understand that in any solution, both the solute and solvent, they do retain their own physical properties. So ammonia having lower evaporating temperature evaporates, leaving behind the water and some portion of ammonia. Then this high pressure ammonia vapor enters the condenser. In the condenser, it releases heat to the surrounding condensing medium. You can see the cooling water arrangement being provided. Then it gets converted into liquid ammonia. It is stored in the receiver. Then it comes back to the evaporator after passing through the expansion valve or refrigerant control valve. In the refrigerant control valve and or expansion valve, the pressure and temperature are considerably reduced to ensure smooth heat transfer to the refrigerant in the evaporator. So as far as function of components like condenser, expansion valve and evaporator are concerned, there is no difference between the Vapour Absorption Refrigeration System and Vapour Compression Refrigeration System. Now, what happens to the weak solution of Aqua-Ammonia which is left in the generator? It actually returns to the absorber after passing through the pressure reducing valve. Pressure reducing valve is provided so that the high pressure is considerably reduced. As far as the flow of working substances are concerned, refrigerant flows through all the components of Vapour Absorption Refrigeration System. But as far as water is concerned, the flow of water is restricted only to 4 components. They are your absorber, your pump, your generator and your pressure reducing valve. So this is all about simple Vapour Absorption Refrigeration System using ammonia as a refrigerant and water as an absorbent. Another type of Vapour Absorption Refrigeration System is your lithium bromide water Vapour Absorption Refrigeration System. In that case, lithium bromide works as an absorbent and water works as a refrigerant. But as far as the function is concerned, it works exactly in the same way in which the simple Vapour Absorption Refrigeration System using ammonia and water works. Now, we'll discuss about the practical Vapour Absorption Refrigeration System. In simple Vapour Absorption Refrigeration System, we presume that heating of the Aqua-Ammonia solution results in evaporation of ammonia. But in actual applications, it is observed that some amount of water also evaporates with the ammonia. And if the water particles are allowed to enter the condenser and other parts, they may choke or clog the pipeline. For that, two additional components called your analyzer and rectifier are provided. These two components ensure that no water particle enters the condenser. Your analyzer consists of series of trays. When the Aqua-Ammonia solution flows to the trays, a considerable amount of liquid surface is exposed. As a result, the condensation of water particles takes place. And these water particles do not enter the condenser. But still, some amount of water particle may enter the condenser. For that, another water cooler called rectifier is provided. The water collected from there comes back to the generator by drip return pipe. Then two sets of heat exchangers are also being provided. The first heat exchanger ensures that heat is transferred from the weak solution coming from the generator to the strong solution entering the generator. So by providing this heat exchanger, we achieve two objectives. The weak solution entering the absorber will have low temperature, so the cooling water required will be less in absorber. By transferring some amount of heat to the strong solution entering the generator, the amount of heat to be provided is considerably reduced. So we achieve multiple objectives. The second heat exchanger ensures that some amount of heat from the liquid ammonia is transferred to the refrigerant, leaving the evaporator. In doing so, smooth entry and smooth transfer of heat from the space to be cooled to the refrigerant is ensured. So after discussing the simple Vapour Absorption Refrigeration System and practical Vapour Absorption Refrigeration System, I sincerely believe that your concept about the Vapour Absorption Refrigeration System will be crystal clear. The Vapour Absorption Refrigeration System, although is a primitive type of refrigeration system, finds application due to the following reasons. One of the major reasons why it is being used is that it doesn't have a compression. The only moving component is your pump. So the moving parts are of smaller size and it almost gives a noise-free system. Another advantage is that as compressor is not being employed, we rather use heat energy. For that reason, you can use in places where electricity is not available. To operate a pump, we can take the help of a small battery. Although Vapour Absorption Refrigeration System is not that effective under part load condition and the coefficient of performance is also considerably less, it finds application due to the reasons what I have stated. I will take another class to discuss about the coefficient of performance because the class has already become very lengthy. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please do comment, like and subscribe. Thank you again.